My name is Joe Nellis. I'm Professor of Global Economy and Economic Advisor to MHA. Well, first of all, the economy has hardly grown since the budget last autumn, and that's really bad news for the Chancellor. At the same time, inflation has risen. And of course, along with higher inflation, the government has also had to suffer from higher bond yields. So the cost of government borrowing has gone up. And on top of all of this, the international climate has changed fundamentally, particularly because of Trump's tariff war. The biggest concern must be to achieve sustainable growth, because it's based on growth that tax revenue will then come in, and then she'll be able to meet her self-imposed fiscal rules. I think it's the top number one priority for this government going forward for the next few years. Yeah, there are two self-imposed fiscal rules. The first one is the investment rule, which states that government debt as a percentage of GDP should be coming down by 2029, 2030. There's also a stability rule, which states that government budget should be balanced or in surplus by 2029, 30. Now, the good news is that according to the OBR, the Office for Budget Responsibility, it's expected that the Chancellor will meet both of these rules 2 years earlier than expected. Now, that is good news. Now, this wasn't a statement for growth per se. It was much more about creating the conditions for long-term sustainable growth. The OBR have downgraded growth forecasts this year from 2% to 1%. So in that sense, it's not a statement for growth. But the good news is, looking further ahead, 4 years after this year, the OBR is expecting the outlook for the economy to improve significantly, with growth forecasted between 1.7 and 1.9% per year up to the end of this decade. Now, that's really good news. On the business front, I think this is really a wait-and-see situation. Business was hit hard by the budget in the autumn, and we've still to see the effects of the increase in employers' national insurance charges, as well as the increase in the national living wage. But I don't think business will be disappointed by this statement. The government has tried very hard to reassure the financial markets and to reassure the business sector that they are in control. And let's wait and see. This is not going to be a short-term fix for the economy. I think the Chancellor is quite right to point out that it takes time to put in place the conditions for long-term growth. So I think business will be quietly reassured, but not overly excited by this statement. I think it's had very little impact on the cost of living crisis. Remember, this was not a budget. This was a spring statement. So there were no decisions made that will make people worse off directly. But of course, they're still feeling the effect of inflation, and inflation will rise this year, perhaps to as much as 3.7%. Before it falls back down again. And the Chancellor has predicted that inflation will average this year at about 3.2%. So there still will be an issue for people on low incomes, but the Chancellor has put in place, I think, the conditions that will improve the outlook for many people in the years ahead.